My mother was 3 months pregnant when she was diagnosed with stomach cancer. She heard about a folk remedy that claimed eating men's tadpoles could cure stomach cancer. I urged her to abort the baby and seek hospital treatment, warning that if she didn't, the disease would reach its final stage and both mother and child could be in grave danger. My grandmother, however, was furious. What's wrong with a folk remedy? It costs nothing, and her precious grandson wouldn't have to suffer. Just eat that stuff to keep the disease at bay, and if it cures her, wouldn't that be a medical miracle? Out of love for my mother, I defied everyone and took her to the hospital for an abortion, followed by chemotherapy and surgery. But 5 years later, my mother still couldn't conceive a son, even though her cancer cells never recurred. My father had an affair, and my grandmother forced them to divorce. My mother blamed me for everything. The moment I passed my graduate school entrance exams, she set fire to my bridal room, burning me alive. One body, two lives. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day my mother suggested using men's tadpoles to treat her stomach cancer. Mom, are you sure that folk remedy is reliable? Why is this the first time I'm hearing about it? And that stuff is so disgusting, how could my wife ever swallow it? My father's voice, tinged with revulsion, echoed in the room. I was stunned for a long moment before I came back to myself. I instinctively lowered my head to check, finding no wounds on my body. I looked up and saw my mother beside me, rubbing her belly and crying. It was then that I realized I had been reborn. Nonsense, what's so disgusting about eating your husband's own? How could she not swallow it? Don't think this old woman knows nothing and try to fool me. Don't think I don't know, you two have been eating plenty all these years. Besides, she's the one who's sick. If she wants to live, she has to eat it whether she likes it or not. Don't you dare look down on folk remedies. What's wrong with a folk remedy? It costs nothing, and my precious grandson won't have to suffer. Just eat that stuff. If it cures her, wouldn't that be a medical miracle? Then, when the miracle happens, if we promote it a little, plenty of reporters and media will fight to interview our family. Who knows, we might even make some money, my grandmother exclaimed, agitated and unstoppable. Her cloudy old eyes gleamed with shrewdness. My father said nothing more, irritably lighting a cigarette. My mother cried even harder, her voice full of grievance. Grandma, but what if there's no miracle? What if it doesn't work? My grandmother glared fiercely, snapping, "Shut up, you haven't even tried it and you're already saying unlucky things. Are you intentionally trying to sabotage this? I'm warning you, if you don't want to, then go die. After all, you're the one who's sick, not anyone else. This disease, even if you spend millions at the hospital, there's no guarantee of a cure. Not to mention our family doesn't have that much money, but even if we did, you wouldn't dare waste it. Rather than spending so much money, it's better for you two to divorce. My son can marry another young and beautiful woman, and then she'll still bear him a chubby grandson to carry on the family line." My mother cried even more fiercely. She looked at me, as if Jay wanted me to say a few words for her. "Camelia, what do you think? You're a university student, you have your own opinions. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's okay for Mom to rely on folk remedies to cure her illness?" I quickly feigned ignorance. "Mom, what are you all talking about? I was just thinking about my experiment earlier, so I didn't listen carefully. But please don't ask me about folk remedies. Even though I'm a university student, I'm not a medical student. Besides, I haven't eaten as much rice as Grandma and Mom have eaten salt. It's a big decision, Mom. You have your own opinion, you handle it yourself. I won't interfere. I'm going to do my homework now. You all can take your time talking." After saying that, I fled into my bedroom, not daring to linger for another step. Through the crack in the door, I saw my mother's face change drastically. She angrily cursed me, calling me a heartless ingrate, someone who didn't care about her own mother. Had I known she'd be like this, I should have suffocated her at birth. After cursing, she cried even more violently, collapsing onto the sofa, sobbing pitifully. My grandmother lost patience and roared, "Shut up and cry. All you do is cry. What's the point of crying? Does crying solve problems? If you're determined to get better, then get a divorce. Treat yourself however you want, don't hold my son back." My mother trembled with anger, but she was a person who bullied the weak and feared the strong. She didn't dare argue back with my grandmother, only able to look at my father with grievance. But my father just smoked, exhaling thick clouds of smoke, not even sparing her a glance. He only sighed and said, "Then just rely on that stuff and eat it. It won't cause any loss to you or to this family. If you don't agree, then listen to mom and get a divorce. That disease, relying on the hospital, is indeed expensive and might not even be cured. My mother's lips trembled, but in the end, she said nothing. In my previous life, when I heard my grandmother insist that my mother use men's tadpoles to treat her illness, even claiming that it could restore the stomach lining and was very effective, I immediately smashed the vase in the living room, my attitude firm. No, I don't agree. Mom is still young, it's only the mid-stage, she can definitely undergo radiation therapy first, and then surgical removal. Eating that disgusting stuff will only delay the illness, and in the end, she'll just be waiting to die. My grandmother wouldn't listen, pointing at my face and cursing me for being brainless. What are you arguing about, girl? What's wrong with eating that stuff? It's free, it costs nothing. Treating it at the hospital means sacrificing my beloved grandson. Why are you so brainless? It's not your place to make decisions in this house. I ignored my old-fashioned grandmother and reiterated my stance. Mom's illness must be treated at the hospital. Grandma, if you dare to stop us, I'll post it online for everyone to see what a wonderful mother-in-law you are. And Dad, too, don't think that just because Mom's family has no one, you can bully her. My father and grandmother were both very image-conscious and liked to save face. Seeing me make such a fuss, they didn't dare stop me. At that time, I took my crying mother to the hospital. After explaining the whole story to the doctor said seriously, "The mid-stage is not serious, removal is sufficient. Everyone has medical insurance now, so it won't cost much after reimbursement. As for the baby, we recommend you abort it. You two are still young. Once your health is good, you can have children later." My father, concerned about his image, didn't dare say no to treatment after hearing the doctor's words. Initially, my mother gratefully held my hand and said, "My good daughter, it's a good thing I have you this time." But 5 years later, my mother still couldn't conceive a son. The cancer cells recurred. She gradually began to resent me, saying accusatory words like, "It's all your fault. Why didn't you tell me then that treatment at the hospital still had a chance of recurrence?" She caused a scene at home every day, and my father couldn't stand it. He simply stopped coming home, gradually having an affair, starting a new family outside. And my grandmother, maliciously, forced my mother to sign the divorce papers. At that time, I had just passed my graduate school entrance exams and was capable of supporting my mother. I discussed with my boyfriend bringing my mother to live with us for treatment, but before I could tell her, she set fire to my bridal room, burning me to death. I cried and begged her not to be impulsive. I told her I would take her for treatment, that I wouldn't abandon her. I told her I was pregnant, that she was about to become a grandmother, and that our lives would get better and better. But my mother didn't listen to a single word. She was determined to die with me. Hearing that I was pregnant, she went insane and kicked my belly, one kick after another. "Die, die, why do you get to have children? My child was harmed to death by you. It's all your fault my family is broken. I can't live and you don't get to live well either." In despair and unwillingness, I was burned alive. One body, two lives. The despair and pain before death still seemed to linger in my heart. I hated beyond measure. Fortunately, I had a chance to start over. This time, I would no longer care about any maternal love. The life she gave me in my previous life, I had already paid back. This time, I wanted to see her live a life worse than death, dying a miserable death. That very night, I left home, taking all my important belongings. I would never return to this suffocating house again. This time, I wouldn't let them hurt me in the name of family, nor would I be kidnapped by their moral blackmail. I was gone for 3 days, and those who called themselves my family didn't even ask where I was. Only my mother continuously cursed me for 7 days straight. She used every foul word she knew, not a single word of affection, only viciousness. To summarize a few phrases, "Camellia Shen, you've grown up now, so from now on, the family won't give you a single penny for your tuition and living expenses. You're on your own. Go steal, rob, or work, whatever you want. After you graduate and start working, you have to send all your monthly salary back home. Otherwise, you're not worthy of your parents' hard work raising you." I tried to suppress the urge to block her number, but she was addicted to exploiting me. Every other day, she would send WeChat messages, ordering me to do this and that. "You little witch, don't think Mom doesn't know you found a part-time job. You definitely have money. Your grandma has been simmering nourishing soup for you every day recently. That medicine, Mom can barely eat it anymore. It's so pungent, I feel like throwing up just swallowing it." How about this, after work, buy some good boxes for Mom and send them back here. Mom will divide it into 3 times a day, eating a little each time. I felt a bit nauseous. My stomach churned. It had been almost 2 months since I left home. Counting the days, my mother's belly should be almost 5 months pregnant now. At this point, her belly was showing, she was heavy, and her appetite was picky. Thinking about her having to consume that disgusting medicine every day to treat her stomach cancer, I was so disgusted I couldn't speak. But I couldn't offer any advice anymore. I could only find ways to refuse her exploitation. Before I could reply to her message, she called. The moment I answered, her piercing scolding echoed in my ear. You little witch, you think you're so great now, don't you? You don't even bother to reply to your own mother's messages. I asked you to do a small thing and you're pretending to be dead. Raising you was truly a waste of effort. Faced with her anger, I no longer felt sad or angry. After experiencing my past life, I had let go. It didn't matter how she treated me. She couldn't hurt me anymore. Mom, doesn't Grandma have condoms? You can go ask her for them. If you ask me, where would I get them? I pretended not to understand what she meant in her message, giving a perfunctory reply and preparing to hang up. Mom, I can't talk to you anymore. If I make calls at the factory where I work, I get fined 1,000 yuan. From now on, if it's not important, please don't call me while I'm at work. My salary isn't enough to cover the deductions. The family contact number I left is yours. At that time, the fine will have to be demanded from you. Hearing that she would have to pay the fine herself, she cursed a couple of times and then hung up. In my previous life, I studied very diligently for the graduate school entrance exams, mastering a lot of knowledge, which I could now put to good use in this life. Studying felt like a cheat code. It shouldn't be a problem to secure a scholarship when the new semester begins. My boyfriend and I had been together since high school. In my previous life, after my tragic death, he couldn't get over it. His parents urged him to marry, but he refused, running away abroad to live in loneliness. This fool I owed him from my past life, and I would slowly repay him in this one. So, in this life, I cherished every day I spent with him. Whenever we had time, we'd cling to each other, enjoying our world for two, each day passing lightly and joyfully. I received another call from my mother a month later. In the video, she was crying, begging me to come home. Camellia, oh, please ask for leave and come back. Mom has been having severe stomach pain lately. I can't eat anything and I'm even vomiting blood. I'm so scared. I smiled, looking at my father smoking beside her, and calmly said, Mom, aren't not being able to eat during pregnancy and vomiting normal pregnancy reactions, as you always said. You've said it many times before that when you were pregnant with me, I tortured you so much you couldn't eat or drink, and you suffered a lot. My mother immediately wailed and cursed. Camellia Shen, what kind of attitude is that? You don't care about your own mother at all. The discomfort you caused during my pregnancy and now are not the same. Back then, I could still eat. But now, Mom hasn't eaten anything for 3 days, and in less than a month, my weight is down to 40 kg. Is that the same? I understood my mother very well. She must have realized that the so-called tadpole folk remedy was useless. Her health was getting worse and worse. She was afraid of death but didn't dare to suggest going to the hospital herself, so she wanted to trick me into coming back to use me as a shield. How could I let her get her way? In my previous life, I had researched this area. If what she said was true, and she was already vomiting blood, then it meant the disease had progressed from the middle stage to the late stage. Going to the hospital now wouldn't cure anything, only add to her suffering and cost a lot of money. At that point, the baby would definitely not survive. And these people would once again pin all the blame on me. I didn't want to repeat the same mistake and become a scapegoat for someone who was about to die. Come back quickly, or what did I give birth to you for? Faced with her renewed urging, I calmly said, Mom, if I go back, I'll have to ask for leave. Asking for leave is a small matter, but the journey is so far and the travel expenses won't be small. I don't even have money for living expenses recently. How about you transfer the travel and living expenses to me first? You know, Mom, you're having such a difficult pregnancy this time. It must be good news for Grandma and Dad. Such strong reactions prove that you're pregnant with a younger brother. Didn't Grandma say before that when she was pregnant with Dad, it was just as hard, and she even had to work in the fields? Dad tortured her terribly back then, too. I saw my grandmother in the video, who was wiping the floor, straighten up and say with a sarcastic tone, HMPH, all she knows is how to whine. All day long she does nothing but complain. When I was pregnant, I suffered 1,000, 10,000 times more than you. What woman doesn't go through this? What's the point of crying all day? If you vomit, you have to eat. Even if you can't eat, you have to eat. It's okay if you're hungry, but my precious grandson can't suffer along with you." My mother wanted to say something more but was glared at by my father. "Mom is right. Even if you can't eat, you have to eat. Don't make trouble for me at home all day. The whole family revolves around you now. What else do you want? All you think about is calling our daughter back. What's the point of calling her back, other than adding another mouth to feed?" My mother was indignant and glared at me, about to speak, but was cut off by my grandmother with a bowl of bloody porridge. "All right, enough talk. Drink this bowl of black rice and pig's blood porridge. The black rice is already cooked and the fresh pig's blood has been deodorized. Drink it quickly." My mother covered her nose, her face filled with pain. Not long after, she painstakingly crawled to the trash can and vomited violently. Even through the phone screen, I could see that she seemed to be vomiting blood. My father irritably lit another cigarette. My grandmother directly carried the bowl of black rice and pig's blood porridge, squatted on the floor, and once again urged my mother to drink it. "All right, will you die if you bear with it a little? Drink it quickly, you'll be fine after you drink it. This is a folk remedy I heard about. When pregnant, symptoms like yours, fatigue, only vomiting, not being able to eat anything, means your qi and blood are severely deficient. This bowl of porridge has the effect of nourishing qi and blood. Moreover, you are what you eat, so don't be afraid if you vomit blood every day. At most, I'll replenish it for you." My mother's eyes welled up with tears, crying aggrievedly, "Grandma, this smell is too strong, I can't drink it." "No, you have to drink it even if you can't. If you break the Shen family's incense and fire, this old woman will not let you off." In the end, my mother, with a pained expression and covered nose, finished drinking it. Fearing she would cling to me again, I quickly turned off my internet to interrupt the video call. After not even a year of peace, my mother anxiously called me again. "Camelia, you can't just ignore your mother. Please come back and help me. My stomach has been in severe pain for the past few days, and I'm afraid something might happen to the baby. It hurts even more than before. If it keeps hurting like this, I don't know what might happen." It would definitely hurt. Perhaps she felt pain not only in her abdomen, but also in her stomach. It's just that she didn't realize late-stage stomach cancer would be accompanied by daily, intermittent pain. If she had treated her stomach cancer in the hospital, it might have been a little better. But now, she relied all day on eating that disgusting stuff to suppress the disease. Anyone with a brain would know that there was absolutely no scientific basis. The illness was completely uncontrolled and, on the contrary, getting worse. And she had a nearly 7-month-old baby in her belly. In this situation, neither the adult nor the child would survive. For a moment, I still wanted to remind my mother to go to the hospital, but I quickly sobered up. I couldn't be so foolish anymore. Going now would be useless. If something happened, they could just pin all the blame on me. So I resolutely feigned ignorance to the very end. How long she lived depended entirely on my mother's fate. "Mom, have you told Grandma and Dad about your stomach ache?" She cried out in disappointment and grievance, but they just think I'm whining. "I want to go to the hospital for a prenatal checkup, but your grandma thinks it's a waste of money. She says that in the past, they didn't have checkups and their children were still healthy. She even thinks the hospital's examination machines have radiation that will deform the baby. Your grandma also says stomach pain is normal. It's because the baby in my belly is growing and stretching my stomach, but I just don't feel right. I won't feel at ease if I don't go to the hospital." She couldn't make a decision herself and wanted me to be the scapegoat. So I deliberately spoke loudly. "Mom, if you want to go to the hospital for a checkup yourself, then just go. Or if you don't have money, call Dad to go with you. What's the point of telling me? I have no money and I'm not a doctor. What can I do? Haven't you always listened to Dad and Grandma? Why are you suddenly insisting on going to the hospital now? If you want to go, that's your business, your thoughts. Don't drag me into it." My voice was very loud, deliberately so that my grandmother, who was probably in the kitchen at this time, could hear it. Seeing that her goal wasn't achieved and her intentions were exposed, she angrily yelled at me. "What do you mean I'm insisting on dragging you into it? Camelia Shen, listen to yourself, is that even human speech? I'm your mother, and in my belly is your own younger brother. Now that we're in trouble, you don't even care. Do you deserve to be a daughter, a sister? I'm telling you, if you don't come back, I'll go to your school and make a scene. If you don't come back, then transfer money to me and your brother for nourishment. Otherwise, if anything happens to your brother and me, it's all your responsibility." Hearing her curses, I really felt like crying and laughing at the same time. She was right. Perhaps in this life I didn't deserve it. In my previous life I cared, but what was the result? All the blame fell on me alone. In this life, if I don't care, then I don't deserve it. I had run so far away, no longer by my mother's side. But she, this birth mother, as soon as something happened, the first person she wanted to blame was still me. She knew very well that her body had problems, but she didn't dare to suggest going to the hospital, only thinking of ways to scheme against me to make me carry the burden. Too bad in this life I would no longer be a fool kidnapped by family affection. I gave a cold laugh. To my mother, who was angrily screaming, I said each word clearly. "Mom, why am I undeserving? You also said it yourself, I'm just a daughter. Moreover, I'm still studying so far away from you. How can I care? You have a husband, and even the younger brother in your belly has a father, a mother, and a grandmother. No matter how you count it, it's not my turn as a sister to care. Grandma thinks the stomach pain is just the younger brother growing. If you don't believe it yourself, then go argue with Grandma. Anyway, I believe Grandma and Dad have always been the decision makers in this house, haven't they? I'm just a child, I don't know anything. No more talking, I'm busy now. I'm interning, I can't take leave, and I don't have money." After speaking, without waiting for my mother's reply, I hung up. There was truly nothing left to say to her. To prevent her from bothering me every other day, I secretly changed to a new phone and got a new SIM card. My birthday was the day before, and no one in my family remembered, not a single word of inquiry. But my boyfriend bought me the latest Huawei. His love was always straightforward and valuable. In this life, the only person I had to cherish and love tenfold was him. With a new phone, my ears were also quieter. The trivial matters at home no longer bothered me. I quickly adapted to my internship, striving to perform excellently, hoping to be able to stay on as a permanent employee later. My relationship with my boyfriend also got better and better. He had intentions of starting his own business, which I fully supported. In my free time, I would go help him, and our life together improved day by day. We planned to get married once our work was stable. Speaking of marriage, I suddenly thought I got a second chance. So what about the baby in my belly in my previous life, who died unjustly with me? It was so innocent. It should also have a chance to start over. Thinking of this, the hatred in my heart deepened even further. I swore, this time, I would never inquire about my mother's life or death. I lived better and better. Of course, my mother was not doing badly either, but only in terms of her daily life. My father and grandmother had always desperately wanted a son. This time, they were convinced that my mother was pregnant with a son, so they cherished my mother's belly like gold. My grandmother shared in the family group every day. My mother showed off her big, round baby bump. Dear family members, I have great news to share. My daughter-in-law is amazing. She's pregnant with twins this time. I've consulted a fortune teller, and they're both chubby boys. When they're born, I'll invite everyone to celebrate with us. My father also boasted in the group about having children in his old age. Don't even mention it, this feeling is amazing. Some relatives couldn't help but ask, "Robert Shen, I remember you're over 40 now, aren't you? Having this baby will be a huge pressure. You're unemployed now, how will you raise this baby?" Exactly. Later, education will cost a lot too. No one in your family is working now. This baby will need money for middle school, high school, university, many expenses. Are you really not going to look for a job now? Yes, take advantage of your current ability. Do you want to find work at a construction site? Earn some money to reduce the family pressure. Don't regret it when your child grows up and you're old. Faced with the worries of relatives and friends, my father completely ignored them. He casually sent a voice message. "You all are thinking too much. Don't I still have a daughter? She's about to graduate from university and is interning. She'll earn a lot of money when she starts working, enough to support our whole family with plenty to spare." I accidentally saw the chat in the group and was so angry I couldn't speak. I didn't know where my father got the nerve to say such things. In my previous life, I was morally kidnapped by him in the name of family affection for half my life until my death. In this life, I would absolutely not let him exploit a single penny from me. Some people in the group also couldn't stand it and said something fair. "Do you think Camellia knows you think that way? I heard that you haven't given her a single cent since she started university. Even in high school, I saw her working part-time in the library several times to earn money. Raising your wife and children is a man's responsibility. How can you shift it onto your daughter? My father felt no shame. Instead, he was very proud. So what? I gave birth to her. I like it this way. My daughter, I raised her well. If I say one, she absolutely wouldn't dare say two. Unlike you all, who raise your precious daughters like princesses, and in the end, they don't give a single cent to the family, only benefiting someone else's family, like raising an ungrateful wolf. No one in the group said anything else. My father thought he had one and proudly took a screenshot to post on his personal page, showing off his achievement. The family group became a place where they shared their great deeds. My mother also seemed to find joy in it, sharing and showing off her affection all day, saying how well my father and grandmother treated her, saying she was lucky for 3 generations to marry my father. Relatives and friends in the group left one by one until almost no one was left. Some even messaged me, advising me to prioritize myself in everything and not let that family drag me down. I found some comfort in this. Now, if I didn't care about these people called my family, no one would curse me for being an ungrateful wolf. I actually didn't care about what others thought, but being backstabbed and cursed behind my back wasn't pleasant. The worse my parents' reputation, the more advantageous it was for me. I never expected to one day scroll past my grandmother in a short video. The reason was that she went to apply for a cleaning job at some small hotels, but after getting paid, she relied on her old age and didn't work properly. She even spent all day meticulously collecting discarded condoms, and unexpectedly, she was caught red-handed. My grandmother refused to give a reason, fighting tooth and nail, and was posted online. Many people under the video cursed her as a perverted old hag. I was astonished, but also found it amusing. Unexpectedly, in less than 2 days, my suffocating original family came looking for me again. This time, it was my grandmother constantly calling me on WeChat video. When I refused to answer, she threatened to come to my school and make a scene. Left with no choice, I had to connect. Camelia Shen, you immediately quit your job and come back here. The baby in your mother's belly is precious. The whole family is banking on it. What kind of dignity is it for you to be alone outside, avoiding work and taking it easy? Come back quickly. I'll give you 2 choices. First, cook chicken for your mother twice a day, prepare 3 meals, serve your mother, and try to cater to her every wish. Second, you can also choose to work outside at a hotel. You're young, you can go to a big hotel. Big hotels have more opportunities. You can work as a cleaner, pick up some condoms for your mother's treatment, and no one will find out. Choose one. When my grandmother said these words, my mother was sitting on the sofa eating cherries as if she were the queen of the house, and my father was beside her, massaging her swollen feet. Through the screen, I noticed my mother's belly was incredibly swollen, her whole body edematous. Clearly, last time she was skinny as a skeleton, but now she had gained a whole size. I stared at that belly and noticed something inside seemed to be moving, and very frequently. My mother rubbed her belly, threw away the cherry in her hand, and yelled at me, "Mom, when is lunch? I want steak, not too well done, preferably a bit rare. My precious grandson has a strong appetite, he likes this dish." My grandmother's face darkened, and she muttered, "Eat, eat, all you know is eat. If it weren't for my precious grandson, what right would you have to order me around? Once my precious grandson is born, I won't be your nanny anymore." My grandmother took out a very large piece of beef from the refrigerator, still covered in blood. She clearly didn't intend to wash it. She just put it in the microwave to defrost and then into a frying pan. After frying for less than 2 minutes, she put it on a plate and served it to my mother. I watched, dumbfounded. The steak was still red, clearly bloody, and no attempt at deodorizing had been made. It looked incredibly unappetizing, but my mother ate it with great relish. She even used her hands to pick it up and eat large bites. She devoured it, her large belly jiggling, creating an indescribably strange sensation. I stared blankly at this scene, speechless. My grandmother then pulled out a receipt from beside her, covered in various types of meat and seafood, with notes like 1 or 2. She glared at me, saying impatiently, "What are you staring at? Look at you like you've never seen anything like it. Don't say 1 plate of steak, even 2 more plates and your mother would eat it all. Her pregnancy is the strongest appetite I've ever seen in a woman. She eats terribly. If you come back to serve her and cook, I'll find a way to go out and work to earn money for her medicine. But remember, she now eats 6 meals a day. Breakfast is pig's blood or duck's blood stewed with meat. The stew should be cooked for a while but not too soft or mushy. She can't eat it that way and will vomit. It's best if it has a strong fishy smell. She finds it easier to eat. Mid-morning snack is steak, prepared just like I did. Lunch is crab and salmon, lightly steamed, with only vinegar as a dipping sauce. Sour and spicy, she loves eating vinegar. I'm secretly happy. Afternoon snack is conch meat and crayfish, lightly stir-fried with pig lard and mixed with pig's blood. She doesn't vomit and she even eats a lot more. Dinner? My grandmother was about to continue endlessly. I was already on the verge of vomiting. I quickly interrupted. Grandma, please don't say any more. I won't come back to serve my mother. I've never even heard of those dishes. I can't make them. My grandmother's eyes widened. HMPH, I knew you couldn't do it. This girl is useless except for eating. Usually I don't care if you're useless. But now is a crucial time, don't mess things up. Your younger brother is the Shen family's incense and fire, very precious. You have to quit your current job and come back to take care of him. It's normal not to have heard of these dishes. A good chef usually caters to the customer's preferences. What the customer wants to eat, what they like, you have to make dishes they like based on their taste. Your mother couldn't eat before, even drinking water made her vomit. Later, I accidentally discovered she was immune to anything with a strong fishy smell and ate it with great relish. Under my care, not only is my precious grandson healthy, but your mother is also well-fed and plump. If you can't cook, then go work at a hotel and earn money for your mother's medicine. Her stomach cancer hasn't recurred in a long time, all thanks to my efforts to find medicine for her. This old woman has lost all her dignity. Now I'm blacklisted by all the nearby hotels, so I can't go find medicine anymore. I can only turn to you. It's easier for you to work than for this old woman. Your mother's stomach cancer still cannot be neglected. It still needs to be treated. My grandmother seemed very proud, saying these words with the demeanor of a good mother-in-law. My mother beside her was moved to tears. She finished eating, wiped her mouth, and pointed at me, cursing, "You little witch, look how your father and grandmother take care of me, unlike you. Like a heartless wolf, you don't care about anything. Hurry up and listen to your grandmother, go back and find medicine for me. If anything happens to me, your younger brother will suffer. If the Shen family's incense and fire is broken, can you bear the responsibility? Just die." This wasn't again trying to dump everything on me. At the slightest provocation, she blames me, truly talented. "Grandma, I'm sorry. Mom likes to eat, but I don't like doing this. Grandma has been making headlines recently. People online are cursing Grandma's ancestors for 18 generations. I'm a Shen, I represent the Shen family. Does Grandma want me to go out and embarrass the Shen family like her? Grandma, you should tell Dad to find a solution for this. I give up, don't look for me." I quickly hung up the video call, not giving them a chance to drone on. Of course, I had recorded everything my grandmother said. I was prepared for the worst-case scenario. If she insisted on coming to my school to make a scene, I would just have to live-stream the prepared evidence across the entire network and play the victim. At that time, when their shocking deeds were exposed, they would definitely be brutally shamed. In short, forcing me to do that was impossible. Of course, there was also a possibility that my grandmother wouldn't have the energy to come to my school and make a scene. She was busy cooking 6 meals a day for my mother. Where would she find the time? As for my father, he was a man and concerned about his image, so he definitely wouldn't cause trouble. Things happened just as I predicted. My grandmother caused a scene in the family group but failed. She cried in the group, "Everyone, come and judge. Your mother carried you for 10 months and gave birth to a daughter, then worked hard to raise her. Now I just ask her to come back and take care of her mother, cook, and she refuses. If this isn't an ungrateful wolf, what is it? All those years of schooling were wasted." I told her to go out and earn money, but I haven't seen her bring a single penny home. I told her to work somewhere closer to home, so someone could keep an eye on her, but she still refuses. "Everyone, please say a few words to help me. I'm at my wit's end." The large family group had long been reduced to only a few people, with some just watching the drama unfold. A young relative stepped forward and mocked, "Grandma, are you sure you're asking your granddaughter to come back and work? I heard that a few days ago you became famous online as a celebrity, didn't you? Aren't you trying to get her to come back and work at a hotel so it'll be convenient for you to steal that stuff? Can you tell us first what you steal that stuff for? Tell me, you're this old, why are you so perverted? Everyone online now calls you perverted old hag. What do you steal that stuff for? Is it to eat?" My grandmother must have been furious. She said nothing for a long time. As her good granddaughter, to protect her old age's honor, I had to presume to step forward and speak up for her. Sister, please don't misunderstand. My grandmother doesn't eat it herself. She said she sacrifices herself for others, stealing it for my mother to eat. My mother believes in some folk remedy that says men's tadpoles can cure stomach cancer. That's why my grandmother was forced to steal that stuff for my mother. My grandmother is truly a good mother-in-law. She herself was blacklisted by hotels and motels and couldn't steal anymore, so she thought of asking me to come back and help her steal. But I didn't agree. I'm interning and can't leave. Even if I weren't interning, I couldn't do something like that. The group went completely silent. My grandmother and mother's phones rang like bombs nonstop, but I ignored them all, completely feigning death. A few days later, I saw on my mother's personal page that she was moved to tears. In a jar, I didn't know what was inside, but she hugged it tightly, facing the camera, her voice choked with emotion. I am so touched by my husband's sacrifice. I will forever remember his sacrifice today. Behind her, my father was holding his phone, chatting with someone, his eyes full of smiles, but my mother pressed her swollen face against his to kiss him. He immediately, without concealment, grabbed the trash can and vomited violently. My mother quickly added to the camera, sharing a miraculous event with everyone. My pregnancy no longer has morning sickness. But strangely, the morning sickness reaction has occurred in my husband. Every time he acts intimately with me, he vomits violently. He says I have a special scent about me that always triggers his physiological reactions. This is probably in line with the saying circulating online. When someone loves you so much they can't help themselves, they'll even bear morning sickness for you. As an older expectant mother, I am very lucky. My husband loves me and my child very much. Lucky to be so in love he can't help himself. Wasn't this just nonsense? In my opinion, it was my father's profound disgust for her. But I was very curious about what my father had sacrificed. My father's expression didn't look like he had sacrificed anything at all. Just as I was bewildered, I accidentally scrolled past a Douyin account belonging to a wealthy woman. I then discovered my father's traces in it. An idea immediately took root in my mind and began to sprout. Not long after, I received a phone call from my grandmother, her voice sobbing uncontrollably. "Camelia, come back quickly. Something has happened at home. Your mother is about to die." I had known this day would come, but I still pretended to be surprised and asked, "Grandma, what's wrong? Isn't Mom being taken care of very well by you? How can she be about to die?" Her voice on the other end was even more frantic, clearly in a panic. "This can't be blamed on her. Your father hasn't been able to eat or sleep well for the past few days because of your mother's medicine. In the end, he was forced to go out and find another woman. Who would have thought that after spending so much time together, they would develop feelings? That woman even chased him to our house, where your mother discovered them. They ended up fighting and fell, landing in the hospital. The doctor said it's quite serious. You need to come back quickly." Her voice on the other end was very noisy, clearly chaotic. I hung up the phone. After much deliberation, I still decided to go, but secretly, without telling anyone. When I arrived at the hospital, I saw my father and grandmother arguing fiercely. "It's all your fault, Mom. If anything happens to my son, it's all because of you. The doctor said your folk remedy is completely ineffective. Now it's late-stage cancer, and the baby might not survive either." My grandmother refused to accept this, immediately collapsing onto the hospital corridor and crying loudly. "What do you mean it's my fault? I've been taking care of your wife throughout her pregnancy, haven't I? I'm this old. Even if I don't have credit, I've suffered. How can you blame everything on me? You didn't object when we first talked about using that stuff to cure stomach cancer." Everyone agreed. "Who knew how you two ate it behind my back, whether you ate enough? You didn't eat properly yourselves, and now you blame me. How is that related to me?" At this moment, the doctor walked out of the operating room. My grandmother hurriedly ran over to ask about the situation. "Doctor, both the adult and the baby are in critical condition and require emergency surgery. However, the family must also prepare themselves. Even if they are saved, they won't live for long. The family should go over there and pay the hospital fees." My father heard this and immediately refused. "She won't live for long anyway. Why should I still pay fees? Isn't that a waste of money? My money doesn't fall from the sky. Doctor, we're not treating her anymore. We're not treating the adult. She's already in the late stage. Treating her is useless. Doctor, just perform a C-section and save the baby. We only need a healthy baby. My grandmother immediately chimed in. Yes, yes, doctor, we'll keep the child. We'll only keep the child. Our Shen family cannot be without an heir. We only need the child. I coldly raised my phone and recorded this scene. My grandmother and father were indeed cut from the same cloth, cold-blooded and cruel. Perhaps my grandmother knew from the beginning that the so-called folk remedy could not cure stomach cancer at all. She was determined to have my mother give birth to the child and then wait to die. I had researched it. There was absolutely no such folk remedy. The so-called tadpole cure for stomach cancer also originated from my grandmother's mouth. And my father was no good either. These past few days, he had been intimately involved with an old woman nearing 70, probably also wanting my mother to die after giving birth to this baby. I didn't step forward to intervene, watching them continue to argue with the doctor. As I turned to leave the hospital, I seemed to hear my mother's agonizing cries coming from the operating room. News about my mother came 2 days later again, through browsing online. Unlike what I predicted, the baby didn't survive, but my mother did. It was said that my father and grandmother wore mourning clothes all day, causing a scene at the hospital demanding compensation and the return of their grandson's life. My mother was abandoned in her hospital room with no one to care for her. This incident spread wildly online. The doctors couldn't do anything, security guards couldn't remove them. My grandmother directly brought a bottle of pesticide to the hospital to create a scene, crying and yelling. Her attitude was clear. They wanted to keep the child, but the hospital killed the child. The hospital had to compensate. If they didn't agree, she would drink the pesticide. Many onlookers filmed videos and posted them online, and the incident became a huge sensation. Some people even dug up that my grandmother was the old woman who used to work as a cleaner and stole condoms. Public opinion grew increasingly intense. Some people cursed my grandmother and father, while others sympathized with them and cursed the hospital. The very night I saw the video online, my grandmother called me. Camellia Shen, if you still want to be a member of this family, come to the hospital and help your father and me. The Shen family's precious grandson is gone, so we can only find another way to demand a sum of money from the hospital and then find someone else for your father to have IVF with, to have another child. Come quickly, the more people, the greater the strength. We can't lose a grandson for nothing. At least we have to make this unscrupulous hospital bleed a little. If you come now, all past grievances are forgiven. Your father and I won't hold anything against you anymore. Who told you you're still of the Shen family blood? But if you dare not to come, after this is over, I will definitely not let you off. She finished threatening me and quickly hung up. I didn't take her threats seriously. That night, I registered a secondary account and posted the video I had recorded at the hospital that evening online. Overnight, the video garnered millions of likes, and public opinion once again reversed. The comment section unanimously began to criticize my father and grandmother for their inhumanity and for abandoning my mother to her fate. As this video went viral, relatives and friends in the group immediately began taking screenshots and uploading the chat logs. My grandmother's insistence on my mother using tadpoles to cure stomach cancer. Shocking rumors spread throughout the internet. The hospital also responded at this time. The hospital had the right to preserve the adult's life. My mother's baby, due to indiscriminate eating during pregnancy, never having prenatal checkups, and other external factors, led to the baby having congenital deformities and suffering cardiac arrest before birth. It had nothing to do with the hospital. Public opinion online grew increasingly intense. People at the hospital cursed my grandmother and father to their faces. Some netizens even directly threw feces and urine at them. Unable to stay at the hospital any longer, they had to go home and hide. I followed the entire incident, still thinking of ways to deal with my grandmother. She gained nothing at the hospital and was very likely to come to me for exploitation, but I was also ready. However, what I never expected was that before I could wait for that day, something happened at home. It was said that no one at the hospital cared for my mother. She recovered a little by herself and was able to be discharged. When she ran back home by herself, she discovered my father having an affair with that old woman. My mother couldn't bear it and immediately went insane, pouring alcohol over the two entangled lovers. She set the house on fire, dying with my father and the other woman. It was said that in the end, only my grandmother was rescued, scared half to death. But she was so traumatized she went mad, turning into a crazy old woman. Everything was like a dream. My mother knew she couldn't live anymore. She used this method to take my father with her. As things settled down, my life got better and better. I no longer cared about my grandmother's life or death. I am not a good person. I sighed. I would forever remember when I was little, for a few tens of dollars for tuition, my grandmother pointed at my nose and cursed me for being useless. I also remembered being scolded for days for taking an extra piece of meat from the dinner table. Even if she wandered the streets, became a madwoman, begging everywhere, I would never visit her once. In this life, everything had ended, and there were some people who were completely unworthy of being called family. The rest of my life would be smooth sailing. From this moment on, I welcomed a new life.